Good morning, friends. It's Thursday morning, and I'm so excited you guys are here with me today. I'm Carrie from Stretch Chi. For those of you who don't know, we're going to do some resistance stretching today. Now, every morning before class, I pick a card from my yoga deck. This is from a company called New Me Fitness. They're just these cards. They're kind of awesome. And it, keeps me challenged. Now, just because I pick this card doesn't mean that you need to do it. What I'm going to do is warm us up into a way that removes barriers and things that keeps us from doing this certain pose. And then we'll work our way into it, and you pick the level that you want to do. So today I picked crow pose, which is really intimidating for a lot of people. And I get it, because a lot of us have wrist pain, right? A lot of us have trouble with being in kind of flexion, and then the idea of supporting your whole body, like forget it. Most of you are here because you're in pain. A lot of you are here because you're not as fit as you used to be, right? And so doing crow pose may seem like a complete, out of the realm of possibility, but variations of it are not out of the realm of possibility. So let's work on some of the things that might be blocking you from being able to do this pose, and then see if we can find some way to get you into that place. Sorry, I'm watching the thing on the thing, and it gets pixelated every so often when the live stream gets a little funny. So I apologize for that. Hopefully the stream help gets a little bit better. For those of you who are online today, be sure to check in on the chat. Let me know who's here so that I know what we're working with today, and any kind of issues or anything that you want to work on. If you are watching this on your television, I highly suggest also logging in on your telephone, on your mobile device, or like an iPad or something, so that you can also participate in the chat. And there's a reason for that. All of these stretches work as a team. Okay, so as we're doing one stretch, if that stretch isn't quite working for you, or if you're not getting the results that you want from that stretch, it may mean that you specifically need to be doing something different. And if you tell me that in the chat, then we can work on that together as a team. Luckily for you guys, maybe not so much for me, I'm not terribly popular yet on the YouTube. So there's plenty of space for anybody who needs extra help today, okay? That's why class is live, so that we can interact. So log in on your phone also, or on your iPad or whatever, so that you can also participate in chat. Got it? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I do have something really exciting to share with you guys. Get this. You know who that is? That's me, yes. But also, this little guy is Thomas O'Malley, the alley cat. And he is joining us as of tomorrow. I'm getting him tonight. I can't wait. So for those of you who love Suri the cat, she just woke up from her nap. So she should be here with us in class for a little bit today. Tomorrow we're going to have a kitten. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So we better do crow pose now. Get it out of the way. All right. So let's get to it. To the mat. Let me adjust the camera. There we go. There's Suri, waiting patiently for you guys. She's missed you. She's so excited, too, to have a little brother. You're so excited, Bubba? Yeah, you are. So excited. She's been sleeping a ton. She's been so bored. She needs a friend, don't you? You're going to get a little rambunctious guy. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so in order to do crow pose, we're going to need some flexibility in our wrists, right? So we're going to work on wrist flexibility today. Now, this could be positive for you even if you have no intention of doing crow pose. So stick around, because you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Also, we're going to need some groin flexibility, because in that pose, you come up like this, and you have to kind of get into a squat to lean forward into that pose. We're also going to need some strength through our forearms and shoulders and chest to make sure that we get that worked out too. So let's work on some of these things. Of course, we're going to work on all of our resistance stretches so that your body's really balanced out, okay? So don't worry, we're getting through all of it. We're just going to use some very specific things for crow pose. A couple quick little rules if you've never done this method before. You have to move all the time. So none of these poses will be held. None of them will be like sitting and breathing, right? Everything will be movement based. Second rule is that you resist constantly. So you want to make sure that your muscles stay engaged all the time. That way you're going to build strength, but you're also going to build a lot of stability through your flexibility, which is way more important than being flexible, right? You want to make sure that you feel really stable and strong in any range of motion that you're in. So we're going to work through that. And then the last rule is that if anything hurts, don't do it. Stop completely. Let me know in the chat or make a note for yourself if you keep a notebook or whatever. Keep a note for yourself to see what you feel in each stretch, and then we'll go back and try to fix some things if we can. Okay? All right, the first thing we're going to start out with is a groin stretch because I really think this is going to be important for this pose. So go ahead and bring your feet together, your elbows on your knees, and you're going to squeeze your legs in using your inner thigh muscles. Your arms are going to fight that force just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot of resistance. It can be a little. So you squeeze in, your arms are trying to push you apart. This is strength training, so the muscles are short in your groin area, like through here. And then you're going to use your arms to open you up. So I'm pushing with my arms. My legs are still fighting a little bit. So there's some resistance there. When I get to the end of my stretch, I'm just going to move right back up. So you go up and down, back and forth. What happened, Suri? You fell over? You did? I can't wait for a kitten. I'm so excited. Okay, so squeeze in and then open up. You should feel the stretch in your inner thighs. And if you don't feel it, if you feel it on the outside or if you feel it kind of pinchy, if your knees hurt, if you can't sit up, if this hurts your back, let me know. Write that in the chat and let me know what's going on in your body. We can address this as we go. Also, you could just write it down in a notebook. Some people are like, I don't want my name on the internet. That's okay. You don't have to. You just put it right down in a notebook so you can kind of keep track of where you're at today. So if you have any little aches and pains while you're doing this, write it down. If you feel something in your back, if you feel something in your hips, make sure you take note of that, okay? The next stretch we're going to do is for the outside of your hamstrings. So what I want you to do is lean up against a wall or like up against your couch or something. Just find a place where you can lean up. All right, so you're just kind of sitting here, leaning against the wall. My hips are actually far away from the wall, like about the distance of my hands away from the wall, maybe a little further than that. Then I'm going to take my right leg and bring it straight out in front of me to kind of like hold me in place. I'm going to take my left leg and bring it in close to my chest. And then I'm going to internally rotate. So I'm going to turn my knee towards the right and my heel is going to go to the left. So it kind of is like, okay, so it's on a diagonal. Then I'm going to take my right hand. I'm going to take my right hand and grab the outside of my foot. Okay, so I cross over my shin, grab the outside of my foot. My leg still turns in, so it's turned in towards this left elbow. Or I'm sorry, towards my right elbow. And then I'm going to kick it down for strength training to engage the hamstring on the outside. For my stretch, I'm going to pull up. I keep resisting the whole time. So my leg's always trying to stay down. It's trying to kick down like this. My arm's trying to stay up. And so you just have a tug of war between the two. My arm will win to bring me up, and my leg wins to bring me down. You could also use a yoga strap with this if you wanted to try, just extend your arm a little, see if you can get a little bit better range. And then pay attention to what you feel in this stretch. You should feel this like burny kind of good stretch to the outside of your hamstring here. If you feel the inner thighs, make a little note of that, okay? If you feel anything inside here, make a note of it. Make sure that we get you in the right place, and if we need to do any extra problem solving, we can. And I can do that with you right now if you just write in the chat what you've got going on with you, okay? So feel free to chime in, participate in class. We can do that because it's live. Woohoo! So kick me down for strength and up for stretch. And right now, yeah, go. She's so talkative with her tail. Hey, get your ears. Okay, and when you're ready to switch sides, bring your left leg down so it kind of holds you in place. Bring your right leg up, and you're going to turn it so that your right leg turns towards the left wall and your heel kicks open a little bit towards the right. It's just a little shift. This turn happens from your hip joint. So it's kind of like if your leg was straight, it would be like turning your toes in. Okay, you can feel how the femur bone, this one, turns internal. That's called internal rotation. So you're going to internally rotate, take your left arm and grab the outside of your foot, and then kick down for strength. Find that muscle activation in the outside of your right hamstring, and then pull up for your stretch. And you just go up and down. So down is strength training, up is your stretch. And you should feel this on the outer part of your hamstring. Check yourself to see, do you feel it on the outside here? It's all about the feeling more than it is about what motion you're doing, right? So don't worry so much about like, am I doing 10 repetitions or whatever? Worry more about what you're feeling. Really key into your body and see what's going on with you. Do you feel it on the outside, or do you feel it more on the inside? Do you feel it in the front? It should be here on the outside. If you feel anything different than that, write it down or let me know in the chat, okay? I don't think you can see it in the video, but Suri is attacking a twist tie right now in front of us. I mean, she is like killing it. It's very important. It's a full-on hunt going on right now. Did you get it? You did. She's a monster. She's a good hunter. Oh my God. Good work, Suri. You're so proud of yourself, huh? You got it, didn't you? Yeah. You got it. Okay, the next stretch you're going to do is for your quads. Now, let's go up against the wall to do this stretch. You're going to need a towel or some extra padding. You could even just take your mat and pull it up against the wall. You could also do this against your couch or like a soft chair if you want. It's not going to be able to give you as much resistance if you're up against the couch, and it might be a little bit more of a smaller angle. So if this stretch is intense for you, being against a chair might be a little easier. We're going to start on all fours. Take your right leg and put your knee on the towel so that your foot is flat against the wall. And then you're going to bring your left leg up and around so that you can come up into a lunge. If you need something to hold on to here, you could take a chair or a little table or something you can hold on to. But if that's the case, make a little note of it in your notebook or let me know that you're feeling a little unstable in this, because we can always come back and problem solve this later, or you can just notice when the change happens, because eventually you'll be able to do this stretch without falling over, okay? So push your foot into the wall. It's like you're trying to straighten this back leg out. And when you do that, it's going to push you forward. Oh, there she goes. And then your front leg will push you back into the stretch. She already ran. I still have it. You ready? Ready? Where'd you go? It's over there. Go get it. So we're pushing back and forth, and this gives you a nice stretch through your quads here in the front of your leg. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, when you get up to the top, when your butt gets close to your heel, reach your arms up towards the ceiling and see if you can really stretch out the front of your body. And you just go back and forth just like that. Now, if you notice my mat's starting to bubble up in the front, it's because I'm pushing with my front leg that way. So my mat's like, it's kind of moving a little bit because I'm using the force of my front leg to push me back into the stretch. And I have to do that because my back leg is also pushing into the wall. I want to make sure that this quad is active the whole time. What are you doing? She's sitting on it. She's sitting on it. Did you catch it? It's yours forever with your fat belly. Yeah. All right, when you're ready, put your hands down and we're going to switch sides. You're a goofball. Okay, so hands down. Take your left leg and drop your knee up against the wall so that your knee's on the towel or on your mat or whatever you want to do. And then take your right leg and bring it around to the front. You're going to come up into a lunge. This will give you that nice stretch. Find a place where you feel neutral to start, okay? So if you need to bring your knee further away from the wall, that's okay. If you want to shift from the wall onto where you're pushing onto your couch or like a cushy chair, that's okay. Okay? A place that fits for you. And then push your back leg into the wall. That's going to drive you forward. Push your front leg into the mat and try to push it forward. That's going to push you back. Keep your torso upright. That's going to give you this nice stretch through your quads. If you don't feel that, if you feel pain, if there's some problem, let me know. Write it in the chat, write it in your notebook. Just kind of keep a tally for what's going on. If you are not good with this stretch, it is totally okay to skip it because we can always revisit it later, okay? So if that's the case, just act like Surrey. Take a break. She's going to get it. Oh, I don't know. She's really showing up for class today. This is a goofy one. There she goes. What? Good job. Bye-bye. Okay, you should feel this nice stretch through your quad. And if you don't feel it, then, like I said before, just get out of it. Let me know. Just write it in the chat. I'm here to help you, okay? And we can work through these stretches as we go. I feel like we can't move on into the next stretch until she's done playing because this is like her arena. Okay, if you're ready, let's bring our hands down. The front leg down, and then you can come out of this position, okay? Ready? You ready? Okay. All right, now we're gonna work on our inner hamstrings. This one's for the inside here. So for this one, you're gonna lay on your back. If you want, you can use a towel or a strap for this one also if you need to extend the length of your arms. But most people find they can reach this stretch pretty well because of the way that it's lined up. So you're gonna bring your right leg up, let your knee drop to the right, and then your right arm and grab your heel. Your thumb's on the bottom. So see, my right arm is inside my knee. My knee's open to the side. You can hold your head up with your left hand if you want. You can let your head be down if that feels better, whatever's good for you. Or like a block or something under your head would be okay. You're going to engage this hamstring, get that muscle activated by kicking your heel down into your hand. Your arm will slow you down. Then your arm's going to win to pull you up. So my leg's still trying to kick down. I'm still resisting. This is resistance stretching, right? So you kick down for strength and up for your stretch. And you just go back and forth. Now, again, take note. What do you feel? It should be a stretch on the inner hamstring right through here. If you don't feel that, then take notes. Write it down in your book, in your notebook, or write it in the chat so that I can help you through it, right? We'll work through these things. We can problem solve specific stretches, don't forget. And again, we always do about 6 to 10 repetitions, so do what feels right to you, okay? You're in charge of your body, and this is a class for stretching, which means I don't care if you do 10 repetitions and your body doesn't either, right? Your body will tell you exactly what it wants to do. And so if you get to a certain point where your body's like, I've done enough of these, I'm ready to move on, then go ahead and move on. It's up to you, right? So if you do 3 or 4 and that's all your body wants, good, okay? If you want to do 15, that's good too, all right? Let's bring your left leg up and your knee open to the left. Then take your left arm and grab your heel. So my left arm is on the inside of my leg, so my knee is on the outside, my arm's on the inside. My thumb's pointing down and I'm grabbing my heel, okay? Then I'm going to kick down for strength. This engages that inner hamstring. And I'm going to pull up for my stretch. You should feel it on the inner part of your leg. And just take note. If you feel something different, if you don't feel that hamstring at all, if you're having trouble resisting or you can't quite figure it out, or if you feel it on the outside here, if you feel pinching on the top here, let me know. Write it in the chat. Because I am a good resource for you guys, and I have answers to all your questions. Trust me, I got all the answers. Down for strength and up for stretch. Find the stretch in the way that feels the best to you. And again, you can do as many as you want. Did you notice I grabbed my big toe? I like to stretch this way. So you grab your big toe and pull from there. Oh boy, she just found another toy. She's really excited today. Sorry, that's your favorite toy? It's like a rubber bouncy ball with a tail on the end. Ah, you need this toy. Look at this. Is this the craziest thing you've ever seen? The other day we lost it. It got trapped. And she cried for like 15 minutes until I found it. It was in a bag, like a shopping bag. It was crazy. Okay, so now I want to go back and revisit our groin stretch because this is going to be really important as we move into crow pose later. Now, we started with our groin stretch here with your feet together and your elbows on your knees, squeezing in and then opening up. So we just go back and forth just like this. But I'm going to show you a different type of stretch for this one. It's called frog pose. And it's awesome. You got it. She totally killed it. Give me that toy. You ready? Okay, go get it. So for frog pose, you come down onto your knees and your hands. Your legs are going to be open wide. So they're like open like this, okay? So wide leg. And then what I want you to do is slide open until you start to feel a little bit of a stretch through your groin muscles in the front. Then you're going to squeeze your legs like you're trying to squeeze your knees together. And that's going to pull you forward a little bit. And then sit back. And this is really going to intensify that groin stretch as you sit down. Pull with your arms to bring you back up. And then sit back into your frog stretch. Use your legs to push you back up. And pull back with your lower body. Where'd it go? Are you done with that toy? Yeah. She's going to go eat dinner now. Breakfast, really. It's morning. It's because now that she's hunted, she can eat. This happens every day. She won't eat until she plays. Sorry, funny cat. All right. Good, good. So again, you should feel that stretch in your inner thighs. If that feels good, then, go for it. If it doesn't feel good, again, just write notes, let me know. Okay? Now let's work now in our wrists and forearms, okay? See if we can get some things loose in here. See if we can actually build some strength in our forearms too, and in our forearms here, and also in our extensors on the top, okay? So what we're gonna do is come onto all fours. Bring your hands behind or in front of you so that your fingertips are on the floor. And you're going to push your fingers into the ground. And while you do that, just lower your wrist down to the floor. You're making it hard to see. So you just lower your wrist down to the floor and then use your fingers to push you back up. So up for strength and down for, this is your stretch here. Now, if this feels good to you to get your wrists to the ground, then you can start to add a little bit of a pull back. So you can keep your wrists on the ground, your palms flat, and just go back and forth, forward and back, just like this. This stretch you'll find in the front of your arms right here, okay? And hopefully that feels good. Now, we're going to continue into this idea of crow pose. So to go into a deeper pose, I want you to bend your elbows, if it feels good to you, as you come forward. So here I'm supporting my weight on my arms, almost like I could lift my legs up. I could lift one leg up or the other leg up. My arms are keeping me in place here. And then I'm going to push with my hands to bring me back up. And this is going to give you this nice stretch through my arms. Okay, so you have variations of this. You can start here and just go as far as you want, up and down through your fingers. You can go back and forth from your palms, or you can go ahead and bend forward, finding this weight in your hands. So try lifting your legs up. Just try to take that weight off, and then pull back up, okay? Play around with that. See what feels the best to you. Now, If you don't feel this stretch through your wrists here, in your hands, in this like inner part of your arm, if you feel it on the other side, let me know. Write that in the chat. Put it in your notebook. Make notes that way, okay? Because that's going to be important when we go into this crow pose. The crow pose is more like this. It's just a different rotation, but it's the same type of stretch. You need to be able to fold here for you to get into this position. If you cannot fold your wrists in this direction without pinching in the front, you shouldn't feel anything here. If you do feel that, then we need to stretch that out too. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to start with just a real simple lift and pull. So I'm going to put my right arm up like this, right in front of my body. I'm going to take my left hand on top of my fingertips, like on top of my fingers here. And I'm going to push my fingers up. I'm keeping my forearm as straight as I can. And I'm going to let my wrist bend. Okay, so this part of your arm should be pretty straight. Then take your left arm and pull down. You can even bring your fingers down too, just as far as you want. Then kick them back up. So you push open with your fingers and you lift up so that your fingertips come up towards the ceiling. You can decide how much resistance you want to use. It doesn't have to be a lot. You can curve your fingers. That's going to be pretty intense. And then you just go back and forth, okay? So up here and down. If this is hard on your shoulders, you could rest your arm on your leg. Okay, so you could just hold it like this. The main thing is that we want to be able to bend at the wrist, strengthening these extensors that come up through here and into your fingers and down. Whew. It's amazing how hard this is, right? These are little muscles, but they're super important. And let's do one more. Up and down. And you want to curl your fingers if your hand will let you, okay? When you get out of that, your wrist is going to be pretty tired, so just give it a little bit of a break. Now we'll do the other side. Now you could hold your arm up with your shoulder muscles, and that's fine, or you can rest it on your leg, whatever feels the best to you. Let your hand drop down, and then put your fingers of your right hand on top of the fingers of your left hand. And you're going to push up for strength, bending at your wrist, and then use your right hand to pull you down. And as you do that, you're going to get a nice stretch through the top of your wrist, here, through your arms, maybe into your forearms, definitely into the tendons in your fingers and your hand. And then up, bending at your wrist as much as you can here. And then folding over. And add your fingers in at the end if it feels good. Just go as far as your body wants to do. Okay? It might not be a lot, it might be a little. That's okay. And again, if you notice anything interesting about this stretch, keep notes. Write it down in a notebook. Okay, these are called your arm extensors, your finger extensors. So you could make a little note there about your extensors. Say, wow, that's a tough one, or I don't like that stretch at all, right? Or you could just let me know in the chat too, and we can work through some other things, okay? So go ahead and just roll your arms out, roll your wrists, and give them a little bit of a break. We're going to return to those later. See if we can get a little bit more strength in there, okay? All right, let's go next into our rotator cuff stretch. So what I want you to do is bring your right arm up, just like you had it before when you were doing this motion. But this time, take your left arm over top so that your elbow is on top of your fingers. Then you're going to grab your elbow with your left hand, okay? Now the resistance here is between my fingertips and my elbow, like I'm trying to pull them apart. So I'm going to pull open to the right. My right elbow is pulling me over. My left arm is fighting from my fingertips. Then I'm going to pull with my left arm towards the left wall and stretch out the rotator cuff on my right side. So you should feel this in the back of your shoulder right through here. Open up for strength. and pull for your stretch. You just go back and forth just like this, okay? So opening up and pulling closed. Now, if you want a deeper stretch here, then you see how my left arm is pulling like this and this? What you're gonna do instead is make it like the neck of a swan or like a cobra. So you push down with your elbow and at the same time pull up with your arm. So it's gonna look like this. And this is a deeper stretch through the rotator cuff because you get a stretch through the back here. Now you can decide how much of a cobra you want to make. So it could be that you only go like this much, that's okay. Or it could be a little deeper, it could be whatever feels good to you. But you want to have this feeling of coming like up and over, like this. Okay, so pull in here. Find that stretch through the back of your shoulder. And again, just go back and forth. Oh, so good. So good. I love this stretch. You should feel like the back here. If you feel it in the front here, if you have any problems, you let me know, okay? This, I think part of the reason I love this stretch is for many years, I mean, I still am a piano player, but I was professional for about 10 years. And I've been playing my whole life, and my shoulders were wrecked. I mean, they were like completely wrecked. And so when I started doing resistance stretching, I could barely move my arms. I mean, it's kind of what brought me in because I was really having trouble. I was so fatigued all the time. My neck hurt, my jaw hurt, everything was in a lot of pain. And this stretch would feel like my arm was going to just snap right off. I mean, it was terrifying. It was so awful. And now it's unlocked and it just feels so good. And it just happened one day. It was like, it went from being like scary stretch to like gorgeous stretch overnight. It was amazing. And it just has to do with different things unlocking so that you're able to access the stretch in the best way. So if you're feeling like you don't have as much mobility as you'd like, don't sweat it. It's not a big deal. Just try the stretch. If it's not working, make a note, let me know. We'll work on it, okay? And as we unlock other things, it's gonna unlock on its own. And one day you'll just be like, ta-da, I have a different arm today. Now bring your left arm up. Take your right hand over top, put your elbow on top of your hand here, so your fingers are touching the bottom of your elbow. Then take the top of your hand and wrap it around so that your right hand is grabbing your left elbow and your fingertips are right on the outside of your elbow. You're gonna resist by pushing your elbow into your fingertips if you're trying to pull your arms apart. So go ahead and pull open to the left, and then use your right arm to pull you towards the right. Keep your torso still. So your shoulders are moving, your elbows should be straightening and shortening, like they're kind of moving. Everything should look like this motion. Okay, so across to the right, to the left, and then pull to the right. You'll feel this in the back of your shoulders. So open and close. Now, if you want the deeper stretch, then you're gonna make that cobra arm shape where you pull your top elbow down and your arm over. Think of it like if you were pulling something out of a bag, okay? So pull, you're pulling up this way, pull, push down with your elbow, find that rotation, and then right back. Okay, find the stretch in the best way for you, okay? Maybe the back of your shoulders, right? Right through here. It could go into your arm a little bit on the side here. That would be okay. If you feel anything different, take notes. Okay, this is your rotator cuff stretch. So write that down. Rotator cuff, this is your left arm, right? Make detailed notes. Make sure that you keep track of what's going on in your body. And then you can either write in the chat if you want me to help you out, or you guys, I also do private sessions. So we could do an online session and I can help you through these one-on-one. Okay, I can help you understand them a little better, how it works, how problem solving works. And then based on the information that you give me, I can actually walk you through some very specific things for your own body. That's an option. Okay, now the next stretch we're gonna do is for your chest and the front of your shoulders, but also for your calves. So we're gonna come up into a stretch sort of like downward dog. Now this is also a wrist stretch. So if your wrists are like still giving you trouble, then you could do this against the wall. I'll show you both options, but I'm going to show you the downward dog one first. You can decide if that's your stretch, and if it's not, we'll go to the wall, okay? So you're going to go on the hands and knees, tuck your toes under, and then come up to a position where you feel like straight legs are okay for you. So lock your knees out and keep your heels up. Then you're going to push up as tall as you can on your tippy toes without bringing your body into a plank. It's just up with your toes. Then you're going to use your arms to push your heels down towards the floor. You can bring your head through like you're trying to push your head towards your toes. And then you just come up onto your tippy toes just until your shoulders are right over your wrists, but not in front, and come right back again. So you're pushing with your hands to get your heels down, and you're pushing with your feet to get your heels up. And you just go back and forth. Now, a lot of times in class, I see people do this. They drop their hips forward so that they end up in a plank position. That's not what we're going for here, because that puts too much weight on your hands, and it takes away from the resistance in your legs. So keep pushing with your hands forward and back. It's an up and down movement from your ankles, not from your hips, okay? So your shoulders are moving, your ankles are moving, your hips are pretty locked in place. All right, now if this stretch is too intense for you to be upside down like that, or to be on your wrists that heavy, bring your hands up against the wall, and you're going to try to pull your arms down towards the floor. So you're trying to pull your hands towards your legs, bend at your hips, and pull your head through. This is going to give you that stretch to your chest. You probably won't get the same stretch in your calves, but that's okay for today. So up for strength. And you just bend at your hips to pull your head through to find this stretch. It should be in your armpits, like in the front of your shoulders. If you don't have that, if you have anything different, let me know. We'll work through it. Cool. So up for strength and down for your stretch. Hi, Bubba. Meow. What are you doing? You fell over on my feet. You need some mashing? Don't do it. Hi, Bubba. Oh, so good. I love these stretches. Okay, good job, friends. All right, now we're going to go back into some stretch for the top of our finger extensors to see if we can get a little bit more mobility through there, especially because to do crow pose, you're going to need to be able to bend at your wrists in this position. So what we're going to do is turn them the other way. Okay, so turn your fingers so that your fingernails are turned down, and bring them down to the floor. Now I've got my weight on my knees. My knees are pretty close to my fingers here so that I feel really supported. I don't feel like I'm putting too much weight down on my arms. What you're going to do here is go ahead and bend down as low as you can, and then push with your arms. Your legs are going to help to lift you up. Now when you get up to a certain point, if you keep following through, your elbows will turn. See that? They rotate. It looks a little creepy at first, but you can do it, okay? So bend your elbows, lift up, and just keep following through. Your elbows will turn forward. If you can't find that turn, it could just be because you're tight. So what you can do is take one hand up and actually help to guide it. And you can actually hold a little bit of resistance here and take yourself in and out of that stretch on your own, okay? If this feels good. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it, right? You don't need to do this much rotation. When you come out of this, your wrist will be a little sore, so just rotate it around, and we'll do the other side of the twist. So your hands down. You're going to take your right hand and just assist in that twist. Keep it a little bit of resistance. When you spin back the other way, keep resisting a little so it strengthens too. You just go back and forth. Okay, and again, when you come out of this one, your wrists will be a little sore, so give it some love. roll it out. It'll be fine in a second. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. All right, we're about halfway through, so now's a good chance for a little bit of water break. We're a little more than halfway through, I have to admit. Okay, let's keep working with our wrists and our forearms. So bring your hands together, right in front of your face, kind of like a prayer pose, but bring your elbows out wide. And what you're going to do is push your fingers together. So it's like you're trying to crush something between your hands, crushing. And then from here, we're going to play around with something called pandiculation. Pandiculation is when your body decides what to do. It kind of just takes over, and it creates a stretch for you, but you have to be resisting when you do it, okay? Your body will lead you in the direction that feels the best. So resist like that, and start moving, twisting and turning, maybe a little to one side or the other, and just kind of play around with it. As long as you're resisting and you kind of start the movement, your body will decide what needs to happen next. Okay, so just kind of like swim like a shark. So your shark fin. This shark is really dizzy. It's like all over the place. So just play around with what feels good. Maybe opening your hands up bigger, your fingers wide, twisting and turning. Play around with what feels the best to you. Maybe up high, if that's what your arms want to do. They'll tell you when to stop. They'll tell you when they don't want to move anymore. Okay, so just kind of play around. This is pandiculation. It's kind of a fun word to say. Pandiculation is my favorite word. Just play around. It's a great way to stretch through the fascia. And fascia is kind of like this webbing. It's like an extra skin on top of your muscles. And it just kind of needs to be like cleaned out. It's similar to like that really thin, like viscous fascia is like a spider web. And you just kind of have to like clean it out. You know, you gotta get up into the corners and just pull it out, right? And that's what this is doing. It's just kind of loosening up all that little bit of extra gunky, it's a little sticky, it kind of like gets all entangled. So as we start to open that up, then we can release the things that might be keeping you from being able to get into certain poses. Now I want to work a little bit more on a rotator cuff too. So what I want you to do is take your hands in front of you like this and pretend like you have 2 teacups on your hand, okay? You could even take something like a ball or something and put it on your hand. And then what you're going to do is open your elbows up wide so that your fingertips are facing each other. Then your fingertips face towards the back wall. And then you're going to try to come out as much as you can. There's a lot of internal rotation in your shoulders right now. And then you go the other way. And as you come here and you reach open, then you get external rotation in your shoulders. Bring your hands to the front. And you're just going to go back and forth. This is a martial arts technique. I don't exactly know it. It might be from like Tai Chi or something. They talk about it being teacups because the trick is if you had 2 of those like little teacups, like they use in tea ceremonies, full of tea, you wouldn't want to spill the tea, right? So you got to keep your hands in just the right position so that you don't spill the tea. Okay. So you come forward, arms straight out, like here's your tea, and then you pull it back and you're like, nope, I was joking. And then it's like if there were people on the side of you, you're like, here's your tea. And then you're like, nope, I was joking. It's for you. Right? You just go back and forth. It's a really fun way to work through this fascia in your shoulders. Whew, and kind of tough, right? That's hard work. Okay, now I want to work a bit on our hip flexors because we're also going to need this for our crow pose also. Okay, you ready? All right, here we go. Bring your right leg to the front and your left leg behind. And you're going to try to scissor your legs together. So your front leg is going to try to kick back. Your back leg is going to try to kick forward. And we're going to get some activation in this back hip flexor. This is your left leg hip flexor. So try to kick forward with that knee. Your front leg is going to pull you forward into a lunge. And then when you feel a good stretch here, then you're going to kick back. So use this back leg, kick your knee forward. That's going to pull you back. Use your front leg, Try bending the knee of your front leg to pull you forward. And then try kicking your knee towards the front of you, like towards your ceiling, or like you're trying to pull your knee to your chest to pull you back. Your front leg will pull you forward, find the stretch. Your back leg will pull you back. This is strength training. All right, we just go back and forth just like that. Pretty simple. Now, we've been focusing a lot here on the back leg, on your left leg, but if we switch the focus to what's happening in your right leg, we can stretch our hamstrings. So what I want you to do is pull forward with your right leg. Notice how as you pull with your heel, you get activation in your hamstring here. Your back leg is slowing you down. So get that activation. It should almost feel like it wants to cramp a little bit. Then use your back leg to pull you back. Keep that resistance in the front leg and actually like sit back as far as you can to get a stretch through your hamstring. You can also bend forward into this if you want a deeper stretch. And then kick with that heel into the ground. Pull your body up. Bend your leg. Find the activation of that hamstring. And then back it up. And lean forward into the stretch. It's a lot of movement going on here. It's a lot to think about, but it also can be really passive if you're not worried too much about it. Just make sure that you're always resisting. Okay, you don't have to think about all the steps if you're feeling the muscle, right? Once you've got all the motion, then put more focus on what you're actually feeling than on what you're actually doing. Okay, just make sure you don't do anything that hurts. Stay out of pain. Don't do anything that's uncomfortable for you. Okay, so as you lean forward into the stretch, you should feel this hamstring. When it feels like it's intense enough, come right back out of it. You don't have to stay there. Because remember, that's rule number 1. Yeah, always moving. You never hold a stretch. You never stay in a stretch in resistance stretching, ever. You always move. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. So this time we'll start off with our hip flexor stretch. Again, you're going to try to scissor your legs together. So this front leg is trying to have some hamstring activation. The back leg is trying to kick up so that your knee comes up towards your chest. The floor is going to stop you, so that gives you a good place to resist against. Use your left leg to pull you forward. So contracting the hamstring. And then here I find that stretch through my hip flexor on the right side. Use your back leg to pull you back. And just go back and forth. So your left leg pulls you forward, your right leg stretches. And then you use your right leg to pull you back. This is strength training your hip flexor. It's good. It's good stuff. And you just go back and forth. Oh, nice. My poor right leg has been through the ringer. I have fallen on this knee or like run into things so many times. The other day I was playing with a cat and I totally ran into my bed frame with my shin of this leg and it's totally bruised like a goose egg on the front of my leg. Oh, it's been through it. Okay, so now let's do the hamstring on the left side. So it's the same motion, different focus. So you're going to kick with your heel to activate the hamstring. It pulls you forward. You might start at that hip flexor stretch. It's okay. Then pull your body back and find that stretch. I'm going to put my towel under this bruise because it is not happy. And as you pull back, you're going to get this hamstring stretch. So just lean into the stretch. Find that stretch in the way that feels the best to you. Then pull yourself back up. Finding this activation through the left hamstring. And as you come back, the hamstring stretching, but you're resisting still. So keep that heel into the floor. And use that heel, kicking in to pull you out back up. And then into your stretch. Good work. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay. So now let's do, what should we do? Let's do a little bit of work on our chest and the back of our shoulders. So what I want you to do is go into a push-up position. You're going to bring your arms wide to the outside corners of your mat. Your elbows will point open to like east and west, like straight out to the side. Your hips are going to come down into a plank position. You can also do this on the wall if this is tough on your wrists, okay? But keep in mind that if this is tough on your wrists, then you want to maybe be a little careful when we do crow pose later, okay? So down we go. This is your resistance stretch. And then use your arms to push you back up. You should feel this across the front of your shoulders. You just go back and forth. Up and down, stretch is on the way down, strength is on the way up. Do as many as you feel like your body wants to do. If you feel anything in the back of your shoulders, take note of that, okay? All right, I'm gonna do one more. I don't think that was 10, but I'm the boss, so I do what I want. You should have felt that stretch right through the front of your shoulders, right through here, okay? Now we're gonna go into a stretch for the back of your shoulders. So bring your right arm up, grab the outside of your elbow with the other hand, and resist like you're pulling both arms apart. You'll push open for strength, open to the right, and then pull across for your stretch, across to the left. And you just go back and forth. So open for strength, close it for stretch. Find the stretch in the back of your shoulder. It should be right back through here on the right side, okay? If you don't feel that, let me know in the chat. You could also just take notes in your own notebook, all right? Move in the range that feels good to you, so if you don't want to move in a huge range of motion, you can go to smaller range. That would be totally fine. It's not a problem. I'm so out of breath from doing push-ups. Those push-ups are my nemesis, I have to admit. I do not like push-ups. Okay, now bring your left arm up. Grab your elbow with your right hand and try to resist by pulling both arms apart. Push open for strength and pull across for your stretch. Open and close. Finding this stretch in the back of your shoulder right through here. Okay, see what works for you. Okay. Open for strength, close for stretch. Whew. It's a nice one, huh? It's making me sweat a little bit. Blindly sweating in class. Either that or it just got warm. I don't know. It could be either. Could be both. You know, it's time for that. Summer. Okay, now let's go into a stretch for the front of your shoulders and your chest here. You're going to bring your hands behind you. Again, this is a good one for your wrists. So point your fingers towards your feet. You're going to get a little bit of stretch through your forearms, okay? Now what you're going to do is rotate your shoulders in. So curl in. Try to curl your whole body up towards your belly button. So everything curls in. Then push with your arms. Lift your chest up. Push your belly button towards that wall. Open your shoulders. Bring your head back if you want. And then open up there. And then you're just going to pull in for strength. And open for your stretch. See if you can find this stretch in the way that feels the best to you. If you want a little extra strength in this, which would be good, if you want to build some strength through your wrists and your forearms, lift your hips up and come into a table position. It's a little bit of a deeper stretch through the front of your shoulders. You can come up as high as your body wants. I'm feeling a little tight in my shoulders this morning, so I'm not all the way up yet. So just go as far as your body feels like it can go. Stop when your body says that's enough. Doesn't matter if you can't get your hips all the way up. And if this feels weird, if there's anything strange, if you feel it in your neck or in the back, or if it's really tough on your shoulders, or you just don't feel like you can lift your hips off the ground if you were trying a table, then write that down in your notebook so that you have a history, right? Because as you do these stretches more and more, and we start to unlock certain things, you build some strength, you get some extra mobility, you're going to be able to do these things. And it'll be fun to be able to look back on it later. Also, it's really helpful if you need to do any extra problem solving. So feel free at any point to let me know in the chat, like, hey, I'm really having this problem. Can we work on it in another class? I'll be happy to do that, okay? So just let me know. Now let's work on the back of our shoulders, and then we're going to dive into crow pose. So let's come into a all fours position. Bring your elbows down in front of you so that your shoulders and your elbows are kind of a little bit in alignment. Your elbows might even be a little bit closer in than your shoulders. You're going to pull with your arms, the forearms, all the way from your elbow to your fingers. Pull towards your knees. That's going to pull your body forward. And then use your lower body to sit back, tuck your chin, look at your knees, look at your toes. Find that stretch in the back of your shoulders. And then you just go up and down, forward for strength and pull back for your stretch. Looking at your toes, tucking your chin, sitting back as far as you can. You'll feel the stretch in the back of your neck, your shoulders, through kind of your mid-back. Then you just go back and forth. All right, and now guess what, friends? It's time to try out our crow pose. Now remember, you only can do what your body can do today. So don't try to do this pose if you think you're gonna fall on your face. It's probably not helpful. If you are a little nervous that you might fall over, maybe put a pillow in front of you so that if you do fall, you have some stability for your face. But I would say you wanna make sure that you feel stable and strong the entire time that you're in this position, okay? So to start, what you do is you put your hands in front of you so that you feel pretty strong through your wrists, okay? Then we're gonna go into like our frog pose, wide leg stance. So I've got my knees out to the side. Now from the front, it would be like this, like, you know when you were a kid and you used to do like a frog jump? It's like you're in that position, okay? From there, bend your elbows into your knees. You could almost like push open, like if we were doing a resistance stretch. You remember how we were doing our groin stretch like this? It's like that. So find that kind of stance for your knees. Your arms are going to decide how wide they want to be. And then from here, just shift your weight from your feet to your hands. That's all you need to do. Look at the floor right in front of you. You may notice that you can lift your toe up one by one. You might notice that you can lift both up. And you just see what works for you, and then right back out of it. I don't want you to hold this pose for a long time, okay? You should be able to play around with it in the way that feels best to you, but I really can't stress enough that you should always be moving all the time, okay? So find your wide leg position, fingers pointing forward. You're in this like groin frog stretch, right? Your legs are gonna come against your elbows. And then lean forward so that you can find this lift. And then right back down, okay? Play around with it in the way that feels the best to you. So from the side, if you need to see it a little bit better. Hi, Sarah. She joined us today again. She's had her food. And that's all you do, okay? That's our fun crow pose. So you can play around with that in the way that feels the best to you, but of course don't do anything that doesn't feel good. Can't stress it enough. All right, if you guys liked class today, give me a thumbs up. It's a fun one. Make sure that you let me know in the comments what you feel in class or if there's anything you want to work on in future classes. I am so happy to help. And then also, as I like to tell you guys in class, first off, thank you for everybody who's made contributions to the channel, but also if you feel like contributing, this channel is completely sponsored through contributions from people like you. And I'm super excited to be able to offer this to everybody who needs it. But I do need help in that, you know, it has to be funded somehow. So if you're able to give a contribution, if you feel like giving to the cause a little bit, there's a little link down below in my description box, and you can click on that. and give a little donation for class today. It would be super helpful. But of course, you don't have to. Giving a thumbs up is actually just great. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking that little button in the corner. All right, friends, I'll see you next time. Have a great week. Bye-bye.